picture this. Europe, over 1 million years ago.
Wow.
It's a wild place, right? You've got these early humans.
Yeah.
They're like the first Europeans, trying to make a life for themselves.
Right.
Among all these creatures we wouldn't even recognize today.
Yeah, it's a whole different world.
But things are about to get rough.
Ooh.
Like, seriously rough. There's this big climate shift coming. And it's going to push these early humans to the brink.
To the brink. Wow. Well, that's the story of humanity, isn't it?
Yeah.
The back and forth between us and the planet, always changing, adapting.
Yeah.
And this time, it's a pretty dramatic chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah, some groundbreaking research just came out in Science.
Oh, cool.
It shows how these early humans in Europe, well, some of them didn't make it.
Whoa. So we're going way back in time to when Europe was like the Wild West or something. Totally untamed.
Right, and we only have these tiny glimpses into their lives. A few fossils, like teeth fragments, a piece of a skull.
Wow.
Mostly in Spain.
Okay.
And some stone tools scattered around Italy.
Huh.
Just little hints that they were there.
It's amazing that we can learn anything from that.
I know, right?
These are, what, Homo erectus, maybe?
Could be.
Venturing into the unknown.
Totally.
It must have been incredible.
And dangerous, of course.
Oh, for sure.
Oh.
But it seems like they were doing okay for a while.
Yeah, the climate was going through its natural cycles.
Like the ice ages.
Exactly. Glacials and interglacials.
Oh, okay.
So warmer periods than cooler ones. But nothing too extreme.
So they could handle it.
They adapted.
But then things changed.
Yeah, about 1.1 million years ago.
What happened?
Things got cold. Fast.
Like how cold?
Really cold.
Oh.
We've got these deep sea cores from off the coast of Portugal, and they show a massive drop in sea temperatures.
Whoa.
Like, imagine the water off Lisbon today.
Okay, yeah.
It's about 70 degrees Fahrenheit, right?
Pretty nice.
Now imagine it dropping to 42 degrees.
Brr, that's freezing.
Exactly. And this wasn't just a quick dip.
No.
This lasted for thousands of years.
Thousands.
Yeah. Seems like these massive ice sheets in the north started melting.
Okay.
Poured tons of fresh water into the Atlantic.
Wow.
And that messed with the ocean currents.
Oh, no.
Including the Gulf Stream, which brings warm water up to Europe.
So no more European vacation for these early humans.
Haha. No more beach trips.
So what did that do to, the plants and animals?
Everything changed. Less rain, fewer trees. And the food they relied on, just gone.
Oh, man, that's got to be tough.
Tough is an understatement. Imagine a landscape like Scandinavia.
Whoa.
Harsh, cold, unforgiving.
So what happened to them, those early Europeans? Did they move? Did they adapt?
Well, that's where things get really interesting. See, unlike later humans who came to Europe, these early folks, they didn't have the tools or skills to survive something like this.
Oh.
The researchers who studied this, they think these early humans just couldn't handle it.
Couldn't handle it how?
They went extinct.
Extinct. Wow. So they were just wiped out.
That's what the evidence seems to suggest.
That's crazy. It makes you think about just how vulnerable they must have been. Like, what did they lack that sealed their fate?
Their tools, for example. Pretty basic stuff, really.
Oh, like what?
Hand axes, scrapers, that sort of thing.
Huh.
Probably fine when it was warmer and there was plenty of food around.
Yeah.
But in this new, colder Europe, not so much.
Right.
Hunting would have been harder. Plants would have been tougher.
Makes sense.
And here's the big one.
Yeah.
No fire.
No fire. Like, they couldn't make it.
As far as we know.
Well, that changes things.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
Fire is, like, essential, right? I mean, for warmth, sure, but for cooking, too.
Right. And protection from predators.
Oh, yeah, good point.
And let's not forget the social aspect.
What do you mean?
Bringing people together. Sharing stories.
Yeah, round a fire.
Exactly. It's a sign of, advanced thinking.
Uh-huh.
Later humans, they used fire to thrive in tough environments.
But these guys didn't.
Nope. So they were left out in the cold, literally.
And their ability to adapt was limited.
Very limited. So it wasn't just the climate, you see.
Wow.
It was this combination of the cold and their lack of technology.
That makes sense. It's like human history is always about this this interplay.
Between us and our tools.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
So this was the end for early humans in Europe.
Well, not quite. The story doesn't end there.
Oh.
Hundreds of thousands of years later,
Yeah.
humans came back.
They came back.
Yep. And this time, they were ready for the cold.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is where things get interesting again.
Okay, I'm listening.
These new humans weren't just coming back to a warmer Europe.
They weren't.
No, it was
Ah.
still pretty chilly. The data from the deep sea cores, those other climate records,
Mm-hmm.
they show that even though things had warmed up a bit,
Okay.
Europe was still in an ice age.
Wow.
So these weren't the same humans who had died out before.
Right. So who were they?
A different species,
Hmm.
better equipped for colder weather.
How do we know that?
Well, there's this site in England, Happisburgh.
Happisburgh, okay.
It dates back about 900,000 years.
Okay.
And the evidence there suggests these humans were living in a landscape,
Yeah.
kind of like southern Scandinavia today.
Oh, wow.
Like summers similar to ours, but brutal winters.
Brr. I don't know if I could handle that.
And we're not just talking artifacts here.
Yeah.
We've got footprints preserved in the sediment.
Wow, really?
Yeah. And stone tools scattered along what used to be the River Thames.
That's amazing. It's like looking into the past.
It is. Snapshots of their lives.
Yeah.
Trying to survive.
So we don't have any skeletons from these folks.
Not from Happisburgh, no. But we do have fossils from another site,
Oh,
Atapuerca in Spain,
okay.
that 850,000 years old.
Got it.
And these remains, they belong to a species called
Yeah.
Homo antecessor.
Homo antecessor.
And they tell us a lot about how these new arrivals were different.
Different how?
Well, they weren't exactly wearing woolly mammoth coats,
Right.
but they were probably more robust than their predecessors.
So like built for the cold.
Possibly. And they might have had better social structures,
Okay.
better ways of finding food when resources were scarce.
Makes sense. But the big question is...
Did they have fire?
Exactly. That would have been a huge advantage.
You bet. Not just for staying warm,
Right.
but for cooking, tool making, everything.
So did they or didn't they?
That's the million-dollar question. We're still trying to figure that out.
Ah, the mysteries of the past.
That's what keeps us digging, literally.
So these Homo antecessors, they made it in Europe.
Well, it's not that simple. They were better suited for the cold, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But their presence in Europe wasn't continuous.
What do you mean?
The fossil record, it's a bit spotty.
Okay.
Seems like they disappeared and reappeared a few times.
Wait a minute. So early humans in Europe
Yeah.
just kept coming and going.
It appears that way.
Wow. That's a lot of moving around.
It does seem that way, doesn't it?
So each time they came back, they brought new stuff.
Probably. New tools, adaptations, maybe even different species of humans?
Whoa. That's a complicated family tree.
You could say that again.
So what does this all mean for us? Like today?
It tells us a lot about the resilience of early humans.
Resilience.
Yeah, their ability to adapt, to innovate, to survive against all odds.
So it wasn't just like a one-time thing?
No, not at all.
These extinctions and new arrivals?
It happened over and over again.
Wow, seriously?
Oh, yeah. In Britain alone.
Yeah.
Researchers think it happened at least 10 times.
10 times.
Imagine that.
That's crazy.
These early humans, they'd arrive,
Uh-huh.
face all these challenges, right?
Yeah.
Adapt as best they could.
Well,
Then they'd vanish.
Yeah.
A new group would show up, and the cycle would start all over again.
Wow. So Europe was like a,
A testing ground,
yeah, exactly. Pushing them to their limits.
forcing them to evolve.
And with each cycle, they got a little better.
It seems that way. They'd bring new skills, new tools, new ways of adapting.
And the ones who couldn't keep up,
They didn't make it.
that's kind of a harsh reality.
It is. But that's evolution, isn't it? Survival of the fittest?
It makes you think about how we view human evolution, you know.
How so?
We always picture it as this straight line.
From ape to human.
Yeah, like a steady march in progress.
Right. But this story shows us it wasn't like that at all.
It was messy.
Exactly. Full of twists and turns, dead ends.
So human history is more complicated than we thought.
Way more complicated.
It makes you wonder, though, with the climate changing today, I mean, are we going to go through the same thing? Extinctions, adaptations, the whole cycle?
That's the big question, isn't it?
I don't know the answer.
Me neither. But studying the past can give us clues.
You think so?
I do. These early Europeans, they show us just how powerful climate change can be.
But they also show us something else, right? How adaptable humans are.
That's right. We're survivors.
We find a way.
We invent, we innovate, we overcome.
But it also makes you think about responsibility.
For the planet.
Yeah, for the environment. We don't want to repeat the mistakes of the past.
Absolutely. We need to learn from history, not just study it.
So where do we go from here?
Well, I think the story of these early Europeans, it's a call to action.
A call to action.
To be aware of our impact on the planet, to make sustainable choices.
To think about the future?
Exactly. What kind of world do we want to leave for the next generation?
It's a lot to think about.
It is, but it's important.
Well, on that note,
Yeah,
I think it's time to wrap up our deep dive into the first Europeans.
I agree.
Big thanks to our expert for sharing their knowledge with us.
My pleasure.
It's been fascinating.
It has.
And to our listeners,
Yeah.
we hope you enjoyed the journey
We hope you learned something new.
and that you'll join us again for another deep dive into history.
There are so many more stories to tell.
So until next time, stay curious.
And keep exploring.